Hi, Laurie. All I can say is ouch and amen. Thank you so much for the artifact that you shared this week. One of the hardest things that I find as a parent is letting your children learn things the hard way. In all actuality, I found that sometimes the hard way is the best way. My husband and I were discussing our young children and came to the conclusion that they've lived very sheltered lives compared to the way that we grew up. When I think about our upbringing, it was sink or swim. It's like our parents figuratively threw us into the pool of life and we had to learn how to swim if we wanted to survive. This type of sink or swim training from our baby boomer parents taught us resilience and how to problem solve. It gave us a sense of autonomy and confidence. We had to figure things out for ourselves because our parents were not educated on certain matters. If we needed answers, we had to find them on our own. However, there's a difference in how most young people move throughout life these days, and my children are included in that. With the opportunities we have to counsel families, I find that more parents are involved in every aspect of their children's lives, from friendships to courtships to scholarships. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a parent whose child recently graduated, and they admitted to me that they were more involved in their child's scholarship process than the child was themselves. And so, because they wanted to make sure that their child was able to get the education that they were not able to get. And this brings me to your point of how overprotective parenting, it often is driven by unresolved anxiety or past trauma, and then that leads to the enmeshment and then the delayed emotional development in children. In fact, Minuchin's structural family therapy helps us to understand the impact of these blurred boundaries. When parents are too involved in their children's emotional world, they unintentionally interfere with the child's ability to develop independence. This is a clear example of what Minuchin refers to as enmeshment, where the roles and boundaries within the family system become confused, inhibiting healthy emotional development. I agree with you in that these blurred boundaries prevent the child from learning critical life skills such as emotional regulation as well as decision making. As Your House and Sales emphasize, a child's development is deeply influenced by the family's ability to maintain functional, structured environments. In families with enmeshed boundaries, this structure becomes disrupted because parents fail to let go of their emotional control over their children. Rather than allowing their child to face the discomfort of failure and learn from it, overprotective parents may buffer them from these necessary life experiences because, God forbid, they fall, scrape their knee, and get a boo-boo. This ultimately inhibits the child's ability to cultivate resilience. Which is a skill that is essential not only for surviving difficult situations, but for developing a coherent sense of self. Furthermore, the lack of exposure of age-appropriate adversity can stunt the child's ability to take risks and make decisions on their own. When parents are constantly stepping in to fix things or shield their children from failure, it creates an environment where the child is not encouraged to build confidence in their own abilities. This can lead to a fear of failure that persists well into adulthood. In therapy, one key approach to addressing this would involve helping the parents to see how their anxiety is playing out in their children, or how their anxiety is playing out in their parenting, and how this anxiety affects their child's ability to become independent. I wonder how we can be more effectively, or how we can more effectively address this generational cycle of overprotection in therapy. How can we guide parents to embrace the idea of letting go without feeling like they are abandoning their children or failing as parents? Proverbs 22:6 tells us to train up a child in the way they should go, and even when he's old, he will not depart from it. This pretty much emphasizes the importance of providing the guidance and the structure, but also allowing the children the freedom to grow into the individuals they were meant to be. Thank you so much for bringing this to light. God bless.